Morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you today? It's what is today? Oh, today's Thursday, and I'm in this kind of natural preserve area in a part of southern Florida. Pretty cool. I'll take some pictures and maybe shoot some more video around here. But I was down at the beach this morning, and I was running through a park. And I wanted to start this devotion with talking about that park first before we get into what we're doing. You see, this is part 7 of our series called Exhale. And parts 1 through 6, in each of them, we've kind of had a little assignment for each part. And assignments include stuff like turning off your phone for half an hour a day, taking a Sabbath, exercising simplicity in your surroundings and in your life, stopping at stop signs, and I'm forgetting one. Oh, and then journaling. We started talking about journaling last week. And isn't it funny? I was just driving here this morning, and I stopped at a stop sign, and this... see if that's that's an okay angle. This woman behind me got really annoyed. Like, she was visibly shaking her hands because I stopped at the stop sign. Isn't that incredible? The pace of life that we live causes people to be frustrated by obeying the law. You know, and then when I was driving here, the speed limit was 45, so I drove 45, and people were whizzing past me. It's amazing when you start to really do this and think about it and put it together and make it work in your life, how everyone else is so wrapped up in the crazy and the busyness of life and the hurriedness of life. And so again, we're always talking about, in these devotions, we've been talking about fighting for our time, fighting for our space, and fighting for a way to increase our capacity for Jesus in our lives, right? The destruction of distraction in our lives, daily destruction of distraction in our lives. Really, really hard thing to come to grips with. I'm not gonna lie, like, I've certainly had trouble with this, and I think, you know, the more I thought about this and the more that I analyzed, like, these last 7 devotions and these parts and what this looks like in our lives and how it works and what it's supposed to do and all of this stuff, I'm not sure that, look, if you can get to all 5 or 6 of these suggestions, great. If you can only get to 2, that's fine. Like, this isn't like a test that you're going to be graded on at the end of the week. It's more about just the idea of finding ways each day and each week, maybe even each hour, to spend time with Jesus, and how we need to analyze the stuff in our lives and not let the world seep in too far. So I wanted to chat just a little bit about the park before we dive into the rest of the devotion. And this park that I was at this morning, it had like, 12 or 13, it had like a mile run that you went on. And then it had like 12 or 13 stations where you would stop and do, a dozen jumping jacks, or you would do, 12 push-ups or 10 push-ups, or body rotations or something. But it had all these different exercises. And I was like, that's kind of cool, because you can take a minute and in the middle of your run, work out. And it's just like exactly what we're doing here, which is we're teaching ourselves exercises so that we can do them daily or every other day if you want to get into that, and form a habit first of all, but also form a muscle, right? So, you can't just turn off your phone one day and then expect to be able to just kind of do it the next day and the next day and the next day. Same thing with like simplifying your life. Same thing with Sabbath. Like, you have to exercise these muscles. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in there. I thought it was a cool analogy this morning as we begin this devotion and as we begin talking about this next step in exhaling. And as we just talk about these devotions. Last night we spoke about, on our Bible study, we spoke about the wheat and the tares. And the tares are weeds. And what would happen is, back in the agricultural days, you would sometimes be sabotaged in your, what do you call it? In your farming, I guess you could say. And people would throw tares in the midst of your wheat, but you wouldn't know that the tares were in there until the wheat started growing higher, right? Let me go over this way, check this out. And I found it interesting because the analogy that Jesus was using was, in this world, you will be surrounded by tares, right? You will be surrounded by stuff that's going to distract you. And one of the things that we were talking about was, yes, there are people in our lives that certainly distract us, but there's also things in our lives that distract us. And I had never ever, this was a passage from Matthew 13, and I had never made that association, because it was always about the people in our lives that were believers and non-believers, is how they were separated. There's no like middle road. It's either you believe or you don't believe. And Jesus was making that point. And it was interesting because one of the notes that we found was, the angels will come and they will take, I can't remember exactly what it said, but the point was, I can't remember what it said, I'm sorry. But go read those notes. Maybe I'll make a note of it in the note of this video as well. But the point of it was, yes, there are people that distract us. And there are people that are definitely part of the distraction in our lives, but there's also things. And that's where it really gets interesting. So the point of these videos is all about exhaling, right? And letting God speak to us through our destruction of distraction, and not being distracted by what the world has in our lives. And I sigh because part of me, like, again, busy week, a lot going on. We all have a lot going on. And I'm just thinking about, like, I don't get frustrated when I fail. I use it all as a learning curve, right? So when I blow through a stop sign, or when I haven't turned my phone off for the day, or when I didn't journal, like I wanted to, it's not like, I'm a failure. It's more like, it's okay. God is still here with us. Amen? And that's a beautiful thing. So today, I wanted to chat about, I'm not even sure where I am here. This is cool. Today I wanted to chat about maybe one final thing in our destruction of distraction. And this season that we're in, if you're watching this, in the coming months, we are right now we're about to head into Black Friday and Thanksgiving and Christmas and this crazy season of shopping. And I wanted to really just chat about our consumerism, and our desire to consume, and our wants versus our needs. And we've certainly spoken about this before, but I think it's kind of a pretty relevant time to be chatting about this and just talk about this and just say, okay, as we roll into this season, what are our shopping habits going to look like? Or what do your shopping habits look like already? And I was in a mall the other day, and I walked in, and I had some time to kill. I was just kind of walking around and just checking it out and checking the vibe and checking the scene, and people were walking around with bags and bags and bags of stuff, and I was like, what are they gonna do with all that stuff? Now, I have nothing against buying stuff and purchases and that whole cycle, but I've started to really narrow down what I want and what I need. There are certain things that I need to run this business, absolutely. There are certain things that we need in our lives, food, clothing, but maybe, do you need 20 pairs of shoes, or can you get away with 3, And this harkens back to the simplicity devotion. I think that was 3 weeks ago, part of the chore and part of the task for the week was to give it away, just give stuff away. And so maybe this one kind of gels into that one, but the point of what we're talking about is, as we roll into this season, what does your consumer habit look like? Are you shopping just to shop because you feel like you need to purchase something because you feel empty? If you don't, does the shopping make you feel better? The spending of the money make you feel better? Like when you get something new, I've got something new, I feel better. But it's a fleeting, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've certainly fallen into that cycle where I'm like, okay, if I get this, things are gonna be better. But it's a fleeting moment where maybe for a week, maybe for a month, you feel good. Even when you get a brand new car, I've certainly gotten new cars before, and it is just great, right? New car, you feel great, things are awesome. And then 6 months, a year later, it's the wow factor just goes away. So I want to caution all of us as we roll into this season, really think about what you're buying. Think about whether it's a want or a need. Think about what could be done with that money instead. Let's say you're even a $10 or $20 purchase. What can you do with that $10 or $20 instead of getting that thing that's going to, fill in the blank. And I really am excited about this. I'm going to start driving back to New Jersey tomorrow. But over the course of December and January, I am going to go on a full-on purge of tons of stuff in my house. And I'm trying of course we have to do some Christmas shopping. I get it. That's what we have to do. But part of me wants to find new ways to give different Christmas gifts that are actually going to help other people. Maybe you give someone a gift card that supports a micro business in Africa. Maybe you give someone a subscription to a membership. And I'm not plugging my own, but I'm certainly letting you know that part of our membership helps sponsor kids and save lives. Maybe you give someone the gift of a child, right? My gift to you this year, I was going to spend a couple $100 on you, but we're going to sponsor a kid for a year. That changes lives. That saves lives. And if you need help with that, talk to me. I'm happy to facilitate it for you, help you out with it. But I really just want us to, as we roll into this season, the assignment for this month, until the end of the year, really, is to watch our spending, curb our spending. Take a minute and to analyze our wants and our needs. And it's a good thing to do. It really is. I'm challenged by this because we live in this world that is so heavily focused on consumerism. But I do want to just have us focus on this week, okay? This month. So this is going to release on the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And then you'll be pushed into this cycle of consumerism. And take a minute. Just exhale for a minute. Like, here's a good practice, okay? Before you click buy online, or you go into a store and buy something, exhale and just ask yourself, do I need this or do I want this? And what could I do with the money that I'm using here to further the kingdom of God or to help someone in need? You know, because when we help someone in need, we're furthering the kingdom of God. We're giving hope, we're giving life, we're giving all of it. So anyway, that's kind of what this week was about for me. I thought about it. I was like, okay, consumerism, yep. We'll put this all together. We'll chat about consumerism. We'll chat about everything else that we've talked about, Sabbath and clicking off our phones and stopping, like literally just slowing down, exhaling, practicing simplicity in our lives, practicing all of this stuff in our lives. And the main point of it all is to destroy the distraction in our lives so that we can have more and more and more of Jesus in our lives. And pretty incredible. Well, I've stumbled across something that's pretty neat. So let me turn around so I can show you guys what's cooking behind me. That's kind of cool. All right. So that's the deal for this week, okay? Continue the practice of Sabbath. Continue the practice of simplicity. Continue the practice of giving stuff away, decluttering your lives. Remember the stuff that we spoke about, the chaos of clutter in our lives and how detrimental it is to our walk with Jesus? Get rid of your stuff, okay? And then as we roll into this Black Friday craziness season of shopping, think about wants and needs. Think about what you're going to spend your money on and what you can use it on to change and save lives. I'm really, really adamant about this. I'm focusing on this hard over the next 6 weeks. And I hope you do too. I hope you join me in this because there's so much that we could do. So many lives that we could change with if we just step back for a minute and take a peek at this and take a peek at our spending habits. Okay? So, yeah, get some Christmas presents. Make some people happy. Absolutely. I'm not knocking that at all. But let's dive a little deeper into all of this and what it looks like in our lives and how we can use our resources to help others in need. Okay? All right, I'm going to, let's see, maybe I'll take a few pictures of all of this or some video so you guys can see exactly what's cooking around me. But it looks like a storm is rolling in from that way. But this side is really beautiful. So anyway, have a great week. Okay? I think this might be maybe we'll do another part of Exhale next week, but it's been so much, it's been so great to just kind of dive into this topic and, just focus a little bit on Jesus, right? That's our daily focus is Jesus. So exhale, remember to just exhale. Think about your shopping habits. Think about what's going to happen this week with your wallet and with your spending habits. And how's that going to change as you move forward into this crazy shopping season that we have in front of us? All right, may the God who loves you, may the God who cares for you and the God who brings you hope continue to fill your heart with joy and with peace and with love today. All right, guys, if you want to join our band, if you want to join our community, we do amazing things inside of our community. This is one way that you can use your money for good, right? Funding this ministry, helping us out, First few dollars of it goes straight to sponsoring a child, saving a life, giving a kid food, clothing, clean water, healthcare. The balance goes right back into this ministry so that we keep doing this stuff. We can keep getting out on the road, seeing lives change. We saved 24 kids in the last. I'm getting a phone call there. Sorry. We saved 24 kids in the last week and a half. 24 lives were changed because of our members and you guys supporting what we're doing. So join us if you'd like, if that's where you want to feed some of your money into it. Oh, here comes the waves. So you can head over to joindaysband.com, okay? And enjoy the day. Prayers up for you. We'll see y'all on the next one. Take care.